Young Junk. Your camera cue.
Right.
He gave it a cue. He gave it a cue.
Welcome to the Micheaux Mission. 2 Men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Vincent Williams, and I'm joined as always by my partner.
Hey, what's up? Holla at your boy. This is Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble.
And here, the third week
Yes.
of a month that I am finding quite enjoyable.
Oh, really?
The Bards of November. We once again revisit the story of Othello the Moor with a modern retelling from 2001.
Oh.
But before we get to that, how are you this evening, Lynn?
Oh, I'm fine, Vincent. How are you?
I'm fine. The funny thing is, no one talks like that in this movie.
I know, really.
Yeah.
It's what's missing, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll
talk about it.
We'll talk about all of that. But you good?
I'm doing better. I still got a little bit of a tickle in my throat, but
Okay.
I for the most part, am well on the mend. I have been drinking, like, I didn't know this was that much tea in America.
Yeah.
I've been doing nothing but tea in the morning, tea in the afternoon, tea for dinner, tea before bed.
Okay.
I brush with tea.
Tea for you and you for tea.
That's all I've been doing.
All you've been doing.
Constant
Constant tea. Constantly.
Constant comfort. I can't remember what it's called. It's some kind of flavor.
Okay.
And then I put honey in it.
You put a little honey in it.
I got to put some honey in it.
And honey.
I don't understand people who just drink
Tell
it.
your lady is stick her pinky in. It's like honey. It's like Erykah Badu say, stick a little.
I'm not gonna touch that.
Okay.
I don't understand how people could just have a tea and just have the tea bag and nothing added to. Are you a tea drinker?
Not really.
You're a coffee guy.
I'm a coffee guy. I'm a coffee guy. I've had, I like a cup of tea and I have it a certain way. My problem is I like my tea strong, like I like my coffee. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's almost like going back and forth between different kinds of alcohol. Like tea gets me crazy.
Get you all
And then it gives me crazy dreams.
really
Right. So I love the Earl, I love that Earl Grey black tea.
I do like Earl Grey, yes.
But the way I like it is really too strong for me because it gets me all crazy.
Oh.
So I'm not a tea drinker usually.
You like it Dolomite black.
Right.
That should be a tea.
Dolomite black.
That should be a tea.
Dolomite black. Yeah, but I'm not a huge tea drinker.
Okay.
Usually.
Well, I am.
You are. Okay.
I am. So,
all right.
So, but thanks for everybody that I've actually got some well wishes on the
absolutely
from some of the missionaries.
Absolutely.
So thank you
Absolutely.
to each and every one of you. All right, let's get into the show, ladies and gentlemen, and that means we are going to start things off with emails.
Okay.
Or in other words, missives from the missionaries.
All right.
So what else is going on, Lynn?
We have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, missives from the missionaries.
Mrs. from the missionaries. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get through the show.
Sure.
Mrs. from the missionaries, ladies and gentlemen, we have an email from Michael Sykes.
Hey, Michael.
And the subject line is short and simple.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Len and Vincent. I know y'all still fired up from last week's episode, so I'll make this short and simple. Have a great and blessed Thanksgiving. Still love the podcast. Will continue to listen despite getting tanked. Laugh out loud, Michael Sykes.
Hey, Michael. Thank you. It's all love, brother. All love.
All love indeed, man.
And happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving. Do you have big plans for Thanksgiving?
No, just family.
Family. And you bounce back and forth.
Yeah, bounce back and forth, driving down to Maryland.
Okay.
So Wendy's family and my sister and So it's the balance. It's one of those good problems.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah.
Now, when you're going for the dinner, are you bringing anything?
Yes.
Like what is?
Well, as you know, my wife makes a glorious pound cake.
She does. Lord Jesus, yes, she does.
Yeah, so a glorious pound cake. She will be baking some, and then my wife has gotten the highest honor in families over the past 7-8 years. Mm-hmm. She's the designated macaroni and cheese maker. Oh, I know, right?
Whoa,
I know.
She's been knighted.
Look, man, I don't know how I stumbled into this, but I'm bringing the pound cake and the macaroni and cheese.
Wow,
I know, right?
I see. Now I've never tasted Wendy's macaroni and cheese. Look, man,
it doesn't happen that often. Like you can't just be eating macaroni and cheese. We have to have a different kind of podcast.
Right.
My 600-pound Micheaux mission. I do all my reviews from here. So, but yeah, it's something special.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's something special.
That sounds good.
So
I'm going over my older sister. She's having Thanksgiving for everybody. And I've been designated to bring sodas, juices for mixing, and cranberry sauce.
Oh, okay.
So I bought the sodas, which is primarily ginger ale because there's not a lot of big soda drinkers. I bought the juices because they said they wanted cranberry juice and orange juice.
Okay.
For mixing.
Right, those are the mixers.
Here you go. But they wanted cranberry sauce, which I know they expect me to just go and buy a can of cranberry sauce.
Okay.
Onto a plate, and here we go.
Okay.
But for the first time, ever,
you already messing up.
In my entire life,
you're already messing up.
I am making homemade cranberry sauce.
Why would you make it for the first time and take it to Thanksgiving?
Because there can only be one first time.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be during Thanksgiving.
But it's cranberry sauce. Like cranberry sauce, honestly, at least for my family, I don't know about for your family, but for my family, cranberry. If the Thanksgiving table was set and the cranberry sauce was not there, nobody would notice it until after we started eating.
So there isn't a cranberry sauce person in your family?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because usually it seems like it's always like 2 or 3 people that are very passionate about cranberry sauce. I'm not one of them. But like you see people like, oh, I gotta have my cranberry sauce.
Nobody in my family is mad passionate about it.
Okay, so this is kind of a low stakes.
Right. So I figured if anything, I'm going to try out on the cranberry. So I had the cranberries. Mm-hmm. I looked up because I looked up recipes.
Who knows how to make cranberry sauce?
Exactly.
Right.
So I found one that you can do in a slow cooker.
Okay.
Got a slow cooker. So all day I've been looking forward to Wednesday for so long.
Sure.
Because Wednesday, I'm going to be cooking cranberry sauce.
Sure.
All day in a slow cooker.
Well, you'll have to report back to the class.
I will.
Now, do you like cranberry sauce?
Not at all.
I mean, do you dislike it enough that you're not going to taste it?
I will taste it. Of course I will taste it. I've tasted
Okay, stop. Don't say of course as if this entire conversation has been wrong.
Well, no, when you cook, don't you always taste
I'm just saying, like, you started with, I'm making a dish for the first time for Thanksgiving. Like, understand, we are in completely wrong. We are in the land of wrong.
It's not
already. So, I don't know. Well, hell yeah, I'm not going to taste it. I'm going to just make it. I'm going to eyeball it. See if it looks good. That's where we are in this conversation.
No, you have to taste it.
Okay.
And I've tasted cranberry sauce to know that I don't necessarily enjoy it, but I want to taste the difference.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, look. Report back to the class.
I will. You want me to bring you some?
No.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Dylan, you want some homemade cranberry sauce? Dylan wants some cranberry sauce.
Dylan can have my portion as well.
Okay.
I don't like cranberry sauce, though.
Yeah, but I'll bring you a little bit.
I don't want it.
You gotta taste a little.
I don't.
Okay. All right.
But happy Thanksgiving, Michael.
Happy Thanksgiving. And to each and every one of you, missionaries.
That's celebrate.
We got another.
We got people all over the world. Like we everybody don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm just saying.
Happy holidays.
Right. Happy Boxing Day. I don't know.
We got another email.
Okay.
This is from George Kimona
What's up, George?
with the subject line of Shakespeare. Gents and Missionaries, enjoying this month's theme, missed the last few live shows, but have been able to catch them the next day at work, which becomes a chore as I'm constantly being interrupted by people with work. Unlike them, I will keep it short and recommending a top 5 Shakespeare moments or lines in Star Trek. This is from George Kimona.
Sure.
Number 5.
He has them.
Yes.
Okay, let's hear them.
Number 5, from Star Trek The Next Generation, the episode The Defector. On the holodeck, Data performs in Shakespeare's play Henry V with the intention of learning the quote-unquote human condition. Captain Picard watches while standing nearby and applauds him that he is getting better and better with his performance. Side note, one of the holodeck characters is Stewart in heavy makeup.
Okay, very nice.
Number 4. From Star Trek The Next Generation, Hyde and Q. Picard and Q use Hamlet to argue about humanity, ultimately ending with Picard, "What a piece of work is man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form, in moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god."
Okay, all right.
Number 3. From Star Trek, Conscience of the King. In another Hamlet production, Kirk's Enterprise hosted the Cardinian Company of Players, a traveling Shakespearean acting troupe in the hopes of uncovering a killer.
Okay, all right.
Number 2. From Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Improbable Cause / Die is Cast. Had to cheat on this one as this two-parter starts with Dr. Bashir and Garrick discussing the failings of Caesar in the play. Towards the end of the second part, Garrick paraphrases a portion of Julius Caesar to his boss / daddy, Taine. "I'm afraid the fault, dear Taine, is not in our stars, but in ourselves."
Okay.
And number 1, the number 1 Shakespeare moment or line from Star Trek. From Star Trek The Undiscovered Country.
Yeah, of course.
Starting with its title, the movie is filled with references and quotes from the Bard. As any good Klingon will tell you, Shakespeare could only truly be experienced in the original Klingon.
It's original Klingon, that's right.
And this movie borrows from Hamlet, Julius Caesar, King Henry IV, Part 2, King Henry V, The Merchant of Venice, Richard II, Romeo and Juliet, and The Tempest. "Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war."
Very
quotes
nice.
General Chang.
Yeah.
As always, keep up the good work. And now, once more, onto the breach, dear friends, George Kimona.
Wow, George, that was so sophisticated and cultured.
I know. I'm not sure if we're worthy.
I was about to say. That would count as an educational episode of a cartoon in the 80s.
I know. We got another email.
Okay.
This one is from Ellis Heron.
What's up, Ellis?
Hey, fellas. I have to say thanks for enlightening me on Deliver Us from Eva.
Okay.
I had no idea it was an adaptation of The Taming of the Shrew.
Neither did I, Ellis.
The only modern take on it that I knew about was 10 Things I Hate About You.
Sure.
I do agree that the chemistry between LL Cool J and Gabrielle Union left much to be desired. However, in comparison, do you believe the chemistry between Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles in 10 Things was much better? I hate to say it, but I think it was. Speaking of Julia Stiles, while I was listening to your last show, I intended on asking if you would review O at some point. To my surprise, you actually announced that it was the next movie.
There you go.
When this movie came out, I started wondering about Julia Stiles. She starred in 2 movies that are modern takes of Shakespeare, and then she was in 2 movies where her romantic interests were black men.
Yeah, that's
this
right.
movie and Save the Last Dance.
That's right.
I'm wonder. Your boy, Ellis Heron from Fort Worth. P.S. Understandably, Megan Good being in Deliver Us from Evil wasn't talked about much, but I have to admit that I was a little disappointed since the way I feel about her is the same way Len feels about Nia Long. Oh, that's interesting. Well, you know, there's somebody for everybody. There you go. All right, Ellis. Thank you for your email, my friend.
Yes.
And we have one more email, Vincent. And this is from Cora.
Hey, Cora.
Hi, Len and Vince. This is Cora. Great show and great insights on these black films that never get talked about in mainstream culture and media.
Thank you.
Also, Len, I'm going to need you to stop all the Last Dragon hate. You got to rewatch it every year. It's a fun movie. No, I really don't. But what I did do earlier today was I did do my yearly rewatch of a better Kung Fu movie, Enter the Dragon. And boy, once again, I fell in love with that movie all over. But for the first time, I noticed something in this movie.
What's that?
John Saxon, who was cast as the co-lead from Bruce Lee because they felt like he needed an American actor to in the co-lead. How they landed on John Saxon, I'll never know.
I mean, I like him.
He's okay.
He's got charisma.
He's John Saxon.
Dude, for someone who has to stand next to Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon
he does it
for 2 hours.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So I'll give him that. But what I will also give John Saxon is that in as limited as his Kung Fu or whatever he's doing.
Right. Because does he actually say, I know Kung Fu? Or does he just say, like, I'm here for the tournament?
He basically just says, I'm here for the tournament.
I'm here for the tournament.
Right. But what he does is called upon the fight. Right. And it is totally not believable that he not only defeats but kills Bolo.
Right.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
However,
introduce him to his friends, Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary.
He is actually better in whatever brand of fighting he's doing than Jim Kelly is in whatever brand of fighting he's doing.
This is your twofer. You got to stab up Timok and Jim Kelly.
I didn't stab up.
I am convinced a black karate man stole your lunch in 1979.
No.
You found a way to talk about both Jim Kelly and Timok.
I just
take shots at both of them.
I just noticed that today.
You just noticed that today?
In my rewatch of Enter the Dragon.
Right.
I haven't talked about Timok all day.
Right.
And I won't do it right now.
All right.
Cora continues.
I
have a top 5 for you and Vince to answer.
Okay.
This is interesting.
Okay.
If you could delete 5 films from the filmographies of Eddie Murphy, Denzel Washington, Will Smith, Jamie Foxx, and Morgan Freeman, what would those films be and why? Happy Thanksgiving to you both.
For each of them?
Well, she names...
We only got an hour for the
Well, she names 5 stars. So let's do one each.
Okay.
So if you could delete a film from Eddie Murphy's filmography. So basically, Eddie Murphy is easy.
You can throw a dart and hit one for Eddie Murphy.
True, but the one that I think he and everybody would delete, and now I'm drawing a blank on the movie.
Because it's literally a million of them.
No.
Not literally.
No, if I name this one, you're going to say
like
this is the
15.
one. No, this is the one.
Is it Holy Man?
No, it's not.
Is it 1,000 Words?
No.
Is it The Golden Child?
No.
Is it Metro?
No.
Is it is it
what's this stupid movie? I'm gonna look it up. You keep going.
Is it Pluto?
You'll never name it.
Right, because it's a million of them.
Now, don't get me wrong. You've named some that are very very close to it, like Holy Man.
I would say Meet Dave, but that's so bizarre.
Meet Dave is very bizarre.
I kind of want to keep that one around.
Yeah, that's not it. The one that I think that he would drop out, and wow, Wikipedia doesn't even list it, and it is definitely his movie. What's the movie that he did basically he's a cameo in it, but they build him up with Dudley Moore. It's something action, isn't it?
No, I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, that would be the one. That would be the movie that Best Defense.
Best Defense. I mean,
Best
sure.
Defense.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so let's take Best Defense off the
Everything
off the
we just said is a worse movie than Best Defense, though.
No, Best Defense is really bad.
Everything we just said is worse than Best Defense.
Have you seen Best Defense?
Yes, I have.
Best Defense is really
I've
bad.
seen every movie I just listed.
Okay.
Yeah, but sure, yeah. So Eddie Murphy's easy.
All right.
Who's next?
All right, so that's Eddie Murphy. Mm-hmm. Next would be Denzel Washington. I mean, would you go for Critical Condition? That's the one where he's the
Critical
ghost.
Condition is funny.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, Denzel doesn't have a lot of clunkers.
Right. I don't like the what is it? The Bone Collector? Is that the one where he's in bed the whole time?
Yeah.
I don't like the Bone Collector because I feel like it's just it just doesn't utilize Denzel that well.
Okay. All right. I can see that. It's got a bit of a rear window type of vibe, and I don't know if that's using him at his strongest.
Right.
I can land on a Bone Collector. Mm-hmm. Okay, Bone Collector. I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. Will Smith.
£7.
Oh wow. I wouldn't do 7 pounds. I would do After Earth.
After Earth, once again, is so bizarre. And it makes me chuckle how he tricked everybody into going to see that terrible movie.
So you wanted to stay on there so that everybody can...
I deeply, deeply dislike that vein of Oscar baity movies that he was making all the way up until King Richard. Like, I deeply dislike those films. Or Bagger Vance. Like 7 pounds, Bagger Vance. 7 pounds, Bagger Vance. Bagger Vance, you know, sometimes I like to hate watch something because it like cleans out the pipes. Mm-hmm. Like I like a good pure hot hate. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when you self-clean an oven and you turn the heat all the way. So yeah, I'm still with 7 pounds. I would pick 7 pounds.
I didn't mind 7 pounds.
Yeah, but you're After Earth?
I would do After Earth.
Okay. All right.
After Earth. Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx is another interesting... Because I think Jamie Foxx, even the movies I don't like, tend to be kind of interesting.
Or he's good. He's not the worst thing of it.
The best compliment that I could give Jamie Foxx is the one that immediately comes to mind is Booty Call.
I was going to say Booty Call, but it's silly.
And it's so early.
Yeah, you want to give him the pass.
The fact that something I want to get rid of is something that you did super early. But besides that, I can't really think of a Jamie Foxx film that I'm like...
Yeah, because I immediately went to Booty Call.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else that I could think of to... Well, no. But he's not even a star. I guess maybe it's just that the movie didn't 100% land with me, and that was Annie.
You leave Black Annie alone.
It's
Vince,
not.
I think the title of the film is just Annie. I know I said that, Black Annie.
Send your letters to Vincent Williams.
The baby couldn't read. It was terrible. Did Black Annie like that?
Okay. Right. And then Morgan Freeman. Now I'm seeing Deborah Battle has made a suggestion in the chat.
What?
Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh no. We got to keep that. You got to keep driving. You got to wear that like the albatross around your neck. Like you're in Moby Dick. Like that's you got to wear that forever. Again, I just talked about the pure clean hate. Mm-hmm. I feel like he was always making them. Is it my imagination or after the film 7, didn't he make like 3 or 4 of them movies where he was like the old wise black detective?
Well,
wearing
then
like a pork pie hat.
He does Kiss of the Spider Woman.
Yeah, I don't need none of them. You can pick. I don't need.
I mean,
none
but
of
that's
them.
one. Okay, well, you got to pick one.
Oh, all right. So what else? Where it's like, I've been a detective since 1984.
You stupid.
I've been wearing this overcoat and this pork pie hat.
You are so stupid. You are so wrong.
I have a 35-year-old white partner who has a wife and a young child at home, and now the two of us are solving crimes, and I'm just a calm, steady presence.
The one that I would take off his filmography, I'm looking at it now, is because he was in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
I like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
The Kevin Costner.
You don't like Robin Hood?
No, I don't like that Robin Hood. I like Robin Hood.
I like that movie. It's all right. I wouldn't take that off.
I would.
Oh, no.
I mean, even if I don't like that movie, but looking at his filmography,
he's been in a lot of stuff worse than that.
Well, I'm not saying it's worse.
You were going to tell me about the movies with him as the older detective.
Why are you doing that?
With a pork pie hat.
Why are you doing a man like that, man?
In all my years of being a detective in this Midwest city, I've never seen fill in the blank occur with such deliberation and violence.
He did Kiss the Girls. He only really did Kiss the Girls. That's really the only one after that. Because then around then he does Deep Impact. I think he's a detective. Maybe you're right. In Hard Rain. Oh, you're right. Because Kiss the Girls was the first one. Because that's when he's Alice Cross, and then he does Along Came a Spider, which is the sequel.
He just sort of wanders around.
And then he did something called Under Suspicion.
Yeah. Throw a dart and hit any of those. I don't need any of those.
And then he did High Crimes.
Right. Throw a dart.
Do a few of them.
You throw a dart, hit any of those.
I still would take Robin Hood off.
Right. And he has like one of those real white screenwriter black people names. Elias Solomon Cole Hunter. Detective. Homicide.
You're so wrong. All right. Well, that's our 5.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go. It's a good question.
Very good question, Cora.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, she had 5. George Carmona had 5. How about we come with our own 5?
All right.
It's time for the top 5.
All right.
Top 5. Who's your top 5? My top 5 is. My top 5 is. My top 5 is. My top 5 is.
Top 5, ladies and gentlemen, where I have a list and I give it to Vincent and he has commentary on it. And this one is going to be straight and to the point, Vincent.
Okay.
Because we are celebrating in November, ladies and gentlemen, the Bards of November, adaptations of William Shakespeare, who should go without saying, is the playwright who has had the most plays
Sure.
adapted into film.
Sure. Absolutely.
Because of all of his plays have been adapted into multiple films.
Yes, absolutely.
You know? But what we have here are the top 5 un-Shakespeare playwrights,
Okay.
or not Shakespeare playwrights.
Okay.
These are the other playwrights who have had multiple films adapted into plays.
Before you say, let me see. I'm going to guess in my head.
Are you just guessing names or guessing order?
I'm guessing names in my head.
Okay.
This is just between me and me.
Okay.
Give me like 3 seconds.
1001.
All right, because I know 2 of them, I bet.
1003.
Okay, go ahead.
Starting with number 5.
Okay.
This one has, so let's see if you can, I'm going to give you the number and see if you can guess who the name is. That sound easy?
No, because I only have 2. Like, I only have 2 that I can guess. So
Okay.
All right. I couldn't come up with any other ones.
3 and 4. No, 1, 2, 3, Four. Yeah, four.
Oh, wait. Okay, all right, I have three in my head. All right,
All
go
right. So
ahead.
the number 5 with four
Okay.
four plays that have been adapted into plays is, do you want the plays or you want the names first?
Let's do the plays.
Okay. The plays, one movie adapted two plays.
Okay.
From 1956, Baby Doll adapted 1946 stage production of 27 Wagons Full of Cotton and the 1946 stage play The Longest Stay Cut Short. They were both adapted into the film Baby Doll. In 1963, there was an adaptation of The Milk Train Doesn't Stop Here Anymore. In 1958, this will give it away, was Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Yeah.
And in 1951, A Streetcar Named Desire.
Right.
4 films for Tennessee Williams.
The Glass Menagerie has never been filmed?
Not that I, per my listing.
Wow, that is crazy.
I did not find a listing for it.
Okay.
All right.
I knew Tennessee Williams would be on the list, though.
Yeah, I figured he would be on the list.
Yeah.
I figured he would be on the
Love
list.
Tennessee Williams.
Number 4.
I love the 2 or 3 plays I know. Because I didn't even know what the hell you was talking about. The other plays.
The other ones. So the ones you know, a Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Okay, maybe I don't love Tennessee Williams. Maybe I just love the Glass Menagerie and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof and Streetcar Named Desire. I love 3 plays by Tennessee Williams.
You know, now you think about it, that is surprising that the Glass Menagerie hasn't been adapted.
Because it seems like it would be super easy to make.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed it. I didn't think I missed it. I was pretty good. Number 4.
Okay.
Also with 4 plays that have been adapted into films.
Okay.
Starting with, in 1945, Brief Encounter. The movie Brief Encounter was adapted from his 1936 play Still Life.
I don't know what you're talking about. You said Still Life like that was, Still Life.
In 1926,
Okay.
there was a movie adapted from his play. The Queen Was in the Parlor.
Sure. Now understand, Negroes weren't allowed to see these plays. So.
1930. There was an adaptation of the play Private Lives. And in 1945, this is probably the one he's most known for.
Okay.
Blythe Spirit.
Okay. I'm not familiar.
You're not familiar?
I'm not.
Noel Coward.
Noel Coward, a name I've always heard, but never really know anything about.
I know Blythe Spirit. I've seen that. That's actually been adapted a couple of times in movies and always reproduced on stage.
Okay. Noel Coward. Very nice.
All right. Now we're at number 3.
Right. And I still have 2 that you haven't named. So maybe I'm wrong. Go ahead.
And number 3 had 7.
Okay.
7 plays that have been adapted into films.
Okay.
And you know every one of these.
Okay. I bet I know who this is.
Starting in 2005 with Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
I was not thinking of Tyler Perry at all. But I guess he's a playwright. Did you watch his documentary? Did you watch Maxine's Son?
No, I haven't watched Maxine.
It is really, really good. Like, all jokes aside, like enough for me, I'm stopping the top 5.
I see this.
It's really good. Like it really, I mean, it's very much a Tyler Perry. Like, he's very much moved into that period where he's setting up his legacy now.
Because doesn't he produce it?
I don't know if he produces it or not, but it very much has that celebratory part of it. But it deals with the criticism way more than you would think something that he was involved with would deal with it.
Okay.
B, and, maybe I'm just being biased right now because he really does a good job articulating, frankly, the argument that I've been making for the past 4 or 5 years about his importance based on what he means to his black audience. Mm-hmm. So I recommend it.
Okay.
But go ahead, name.
How did you feel about Tyler Perry coming out of it?
The same feelings, but deepened.
Deepened.
So,
still not a fan of his film.
Not a fan of his film. Still not a fan of his work. B, comfortable with the fact that I am neither his target audience, nor is it anything personal. Mm-hmm. That he's not making stuff for me. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to watch what you make. Mm-hmm. C, once again, look, man. If you love black people, you got like I love black people, and I love black people. Even stuff that we as a community have decided that we embrace, and like that, it's sort of like collard greens and Gangstar, mm-hmm. and generally Jay-Z and Martin. Even the first couple of seasons, like as a group, we got together and said this stuff we love, and Vince said, "Not really my thing." Mm-hmm. But since we all just, I love it to y'all. Line dancing, like black people, we voted, we love it. And I said, it's not really my thing, but I love us, so I go along with it. Everything I just named, Tyler Perry to the nth degree. Okay. There was a dude on there, and we've been talking about this in my house since we watched it. I thought it was so powerful. Where pretty well, educated dude, this and other. Took his mother to plays, would take his mother to Broadway, and took his mother all these fine shows and this that, and the other. And then she said it was all right, but she said she really wanted to go see these Medea plays, mm-hmm. and she said that she felt safe when she was in the audience in the world with Tyler Perry, and I that has stuck with me because you hear people say I feel seen. Mm-hmm. But she said, I feel safe.
Yeah, with her people.
With her people and with Tyler Perry. Mm-hmm. So, damn, how can I not love him? Like, how can I not love somebody that makes old black ladies feel safe? So, but go ahead. You said how many of his films?
7.
So I just ate up all his time. So Medea Make a Pot of Greens. Medea does the Cupid
Diary
Shuffle.
of a Mad Black Woman. Medea's Family Reunion.
Medea does.
Why Did I Get Married? Meet the Browns.
Yeah, she does Double Dutch.
Medea Goes to Jail.
Right,
Medea's Big Family.
Right. Medea eats some chitlins.
And
Medea.
Your favorite, Temptation, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor.
Right.
All of those were adapted from
Absolutely.
Tyler Perry's stage plays.
In the time that we've talked about it, he's made 2 more movies.
All adapted from his
stage plays.
And soon will be worked into TV series.
Worked into TV.
On BET Plus.
Yeah.
That was number 3. I see in the chat that Deborah Battle actually points out that The Glass Menagerie was in fact a movie in 1950. So that would move Tennessee Williams' number up to he would actually be above Noel Coward.
Okay.
So he would be number 4. And
All
Noel
right.
Coward would be number 5.
I love The Glass Menagerie.
All right. Number 2. Another one from the days before Negroes could see films. We have from 1933.
Oh Lord.
Ah, Wilderness. 1921. Anna Christie. 1920, The Emperor Jones.
Okay, all right.
Which is a tragic play.
Yeah,
about Brutus Jones, a resourceful African American and former Pullman porter. So there's that.
Yeah,
all right. For
we reviewed Emperor Jones.
We did.
Yeah.
1946, The Iceman Cometh.
Yeah.
1956, Long Day's Journey into Night.
Yeah.
1931, Morning Becomes Electra.
I did not know they made all these plays of, was this Eugene O'Neill?
Eugene O'Neill.
Yeah.
And then 1928, Strange Interlude.
Okay.
Eugene O'Neill.
All right.
There you go.
Long Day's Journey in the Night was my joint
Yeah.
when I was like a freshman.
All right. So that was number 2.
All right.
So have we named your 2 yet?
You did not. I thought August Wilson would show up, but since it's only one slot left, I would assume that number 1's going to be Neil Simon.
It is, in fact, Neil Simon, number 1. See, in August Wilson, a lot of his work hasn't been adapted in the movies. That's the reason why Denzel wants to do that.
Yeah.
But number 1, you're right, is Neil Simon.
Sure, of course.
Who did Barefoot in the Park.
Great.
Biloxi Blues.
Great.
Brighton Beach Memoirs.
Great.
California Suite.
Great.
Chapter 2.
Don't know Chapter 2.
Come Below Your Horn.
Don't know Come Below Your Horn.
Lost in Yonkers.
Great.
The Odd Couple.
Oh my God.
Plaza Suite.
Don't know Plaza Suite.
Oh, you don't know Plaza? Plaza
I don't
Suite.
know Plaza Suite.
Plaza Suite is excellent.
Okay.
At least the movie. I never saw the play. The Prisoner of Second Avenue.
Not familiar.
Fantastic movie. And The Sunshine Boys.
Great.
I'm familiar with all of these except Lost in Yonkers in Chapter 2.
Oh, Lost in Yonkers is great. I mean, Neil Simon, man. Like Neil Simon.
I mean, no, I love
God.
Neil Simon.
Yeah.
The Odd Couple, the Plaza Suite, California Suite. I can take.
I
or
like
leave
California Suite. It's fun.
Barefoot
in the
Park.
Barefoot, yeah.
Biloxi Blues.
Biloxi Blues is fantastic.
There you go. So,
and I must like Neil's because you know I don't do World War II white boys.
I know, that's
but
Biloxi
I do like
Blues.
Biloxi Blues.
That's Biloxi Blues. There you go. So,
there you go. Plays.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's our top 5.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to put down the phone. We still got one more segment.
Yeah.
And that would be 6 Degrees
All
of
right.
D'Urville Martin.
All right.
You'd be surprised what a person can do with just a sense of touch and a sense of sound.
6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, ladies and gentlemen. I give Vincent 2 actors, and he has 6 films or less to connect them to a man who could rule any stage. That would be one D'Urville Martin of the 70s.
A one-man odd couple.
Oh, God.
He could play both of them.
He could. All right, Vincent, are you ready?
I am.
Keeping this a little bit in theme, these are authors who are also actors.
Authors who are also
Or
actors.
who have become relatively successful authors.
Actors who've become relatively
Speaking of documentaries, this person is a star of a new documentary on HBO that I have not seen yet. I look forward to sitting down with. In 6 movies or less, connect D'Urville Martin to
D'Urville Martin too.
Albert Brooks.
Albert Brooks. So Albert Brooks, when I think about him in movies, what's my movie where he goes to heaven?
Defending Your Life.
Defending Your Life. Who's he in Defending Your Life with?
You're really becoming very bad at this game. Can you just ask me questions?
I mean, Albert Brooks is... it's like, this is the last time I saw something with Albert Brooks.
Apparently, the last time you saw that movie.
I mean, it's a little random. Albert Brooks is a little random. I think he's a little...
Perhaps.
Is he still alive?
Yes, he's still alive.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Brooks. I didn't mean to...
He's been on television. He was on, what was the show? Was it Barry that he was on?
You know what? I've never seen Barry. I still haven't watched Barry.
Me neither. I think I watched like 1 episode. And it was okay, but
Yeah.
I think he was on Barry.
Yeah, Albert Brooks is...
But he's in Defending Your Life with Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep. I think of Meryl Streep. Albert Brooks. don't know. There's like a good 70s. He's a good 70s dude. What is he in that I really like him and he cracks me up?
Well, Defending Your Life, and then there's another movie that I love.
Is that him in Holy Moses?
I don't think he's in Holy Moses. Me no,
No, that's what's his name?
yeah, I don't think he's in Holy Moses. I'm looking him up, but I don't think he's in Holy Moses.
I see him in like a tunic for some reason.
A tunic? A tunic? I don't know about him in a tunic.
Albert Brooks.
I mean, I gave you a big clue. I mean, I gave you a name. I mean,
No, you did. But even that.
no, he's not in Holy Moses.
He's like playing somebody's dad. Is it like Seth?
He is. He does play somebody's dad,
He plays somebody
famously, in a famous movie,
like fairly recent.
fairly recently. Well, yeah, fairly recently.
Seth, what's his name? Does he play his dad? Let's move it. Whose dad does he play?
He plays Nemo's dad.
Oh my God, he's in Finding Nemo.
He's the star.
He's the star of Finding Nemo.
You can't think of anybody.
No, I mean, look, even that. It's like Ellen DeGeneres and who's the fish with the scar face?
Oh, I can't think of it.
Albert Brooks is a bit of a blank right now. So Meryl Streep.
Yeah, come on,
Was
Meryl.
that also her? Who's the female lead in like Kramer versus Kramer?
That is Meryl Streep.
That is Meryl Streep. So now we got Meryl Streep and Dustin Hoffman.
I did not think this was going to be that hard.
No.
Especially once you get in Meryl Streep.
I know. You know when it's you know it's Meryl. All right, fine. All right. So look, Derville Martin is in okay. All right, Derville Martin is oh boy, that's a really convoluted way. Because even with Warren Beatty, Meryl Streep. What's the last thing Albert Brooks was in?
Okay.
I'm having
You having a brain
I
fart on
am.
Meryl Streep?
well with Albert Brooks, and then the rest of it is just sort of
But all you got to do is connect Meryl Streep.
yeah, and
You can't connect Meryl Streep.
I cannot right now. I can't.
She's been in everything,
I know,
Vincent.
and yet here we are.
Oh my God! So you want to go away from Meryl
I'm
Streep?
going away from Meryl Streep.
What's the last movie he
That
was
Albert
in?
Brooks
The
was in.
Secret Life of Pets.
Wait, isn't like Kevin Hart in that?
Yes.
That's Kevin Hart, right?
Yes. You're gonna have trouble with Kevin
I was
Hart.
gonna say now we've got the blacks involved. All right, sure. So Derville Martin is in. What is Derville Martin in? I get to Kevin. All right, I know. This is.
Are your boots on too tight? What is happening
right?
here?
I know. Okay, so Derville Martin is in 5 on a Black Hand side with Dick Anthony Williams, who's in Mo Better Blues with Samuel Jackson, who's in the Avengers Endgame mishmash with Paul Rudd, who's in 40-Year-Old Virgin with Kevin Hart, who's in The Secret Life of Pets with Albert Brooks.
Very good.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. You are ready for Thanksgiving.
I am tired. I am tired. I am tired.
All right, well, this next one will be easy for you.
Okay.
All right,
Well, hopefully. Who was it?
In 6 films or less,
Yes.
connect Derville Martin to
2.
Steve Martin.
Oh, Steve Martin. Okay. Well, Steve Martin is actually super easy
Yes.
because Derville Martin is once again in 5 on the Black Hand side with Dick Anthony Williams. And I believe Dick Anthony Williams is in The Jerk
Yes.
with Steve Martin.
Very good.
All right. There you go.
See, I gave you a...
You gave me Steve Martin. You know Dick Anthony Williams is in The Jerk, though.
No, I did not.
Yeah, I know.
I
Did you check?
No.
No, check.
All right.
I'm pretty sure he's in The Jerk
All right, we'll check. We'll check.
because I feel like I had that in my back pocket because I thought Steve Martin might come up.
When did you think that might come up?
For as long as we've been doing this. It's like, who might pop up?
Okay, The Jerk. The cast in The Jerk of Dick Anthony Williams.
Yeah.
It's Taj. Mm-hmm. That film. I haven't seen that film in forever.
I love The Jerk.
I remember loving it.
Yeah.
Saw it in the movies.
Yeah.
But that was 1979.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
I think that may be how I really discovered Steve Martin. Like, I had vague memories of him on Saturday Night Live,
Oh, really?
but The Jerk was my one.
I forget. I got a couple of years on you because I actually do remember him on Saturday Night
Yeah.
Live. I actually remember him on The Tonight Show.
Oh, my God, no.
And then I remember him on Saturday Night Live doing King Tut.
Right.
And it was like, it was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was over after that, man. So, yeah. All right. Very good, Vincent.
All right.
You were talking about a documentary, recommending the Tyler Perry documentary. Where is that? Where can people see that?
It's maybe Prime.
On Prime?
Yeah.
Amazon Prime. I want to recommend a documentary that just recently debuted on Netflix
Okay.
called Stamped from the Beginning.
Yeah.
It's a documentary that chronicles the story of anti-black racist ideas and their staggering power over the course of American history. It's based it's a documentary that's like by director Roger Ross Williams, adapted from the book by Ibram Kendi of the same name. And I watched that documentary last night. And it's a very powerful documentary.
Okay.
Very powerful, extremely well done. And you know, you've heard everything about the 1619 Project. This like 1619 ain't got nothing on this, because this documentary starts back in 1444. This goes back to the rooter to the tutor. You know what I'm saying? And it breaks down like the whole creation of this idea of blackness, and why black people became the face of slavery when slaves were not black.
Right.
They were Slavic.
Right.
You know, thus the name slave.
Right.
You know, so it really breaks down the history. And what I really appreciate about this documentary is that, as powerful as it is, it still finds time at the end to leave you with a feeling, an aspirational feel,
Okay.
as to what the world, an anti-racist world, could be or should be.
Very nice.
So it's a really powerful documentary. I recommend that each and every one of you out there see Stamped from the Beginning, new documentary on Netflix.
Excellent. Would you like a good documentary?
Yeah, it was really cool. There's a lot of great talking heads in there. Angela Davis, Lene Vinay, Kelly Carter Jackson. Tons of great talking heads. It was really dope. It was the type of documentary that you like because it sparks conversation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really
Excellent. Excellent.
It was a good time last night watching that. If you can believe that. All right, so now
All right.
I guess it's now time for us to get into our
Go
review.
time.
Go time.
All right.
It's go time because it's time. I know you're waiting for me, but it's Vincent today. He will be starting. He's about to start now. As you can see, he's propping up his pen.
Oh, from 2001. Moving the classic tale of Othello onto the basketball courts of a high school, the story focuses on a young black man named Odin James, who's convinced by a conniving best friend, Hugo, that his girlfriend, Desi, is cheating on him. Of course, what Odin doesn't know is that Hugo is in fact motivated by his own jealousy of Odin's good fortune. Obviously adapted from the play Othello by William Shakespeare. The screenplay was written by Brad Kea, directed by Tim Blake Nelson, released in 2001 after being delayed, and we'll talk about that. And this was the choice of Lynn Webb here on the third week of the Bards of November. Mm-hmm. Lynn, how would you like to begin our conversation of O? Wait. Julia Stiles, Mekhi Phifer, Josh Hartnett, Andrew Keegan, and Martin Sheen make up the cast.
Yes, make up the cast of O, which is it very much is a beat for beat adaptation of Othello, but put into like the world of high school drama, prep school drama. I think that it as an adaptation of the story, they make, some changes that make sense. It's not Desdemona, it's Desi.
Yes.
It's not Othello, it's Odin, which some may argue is like, we could have went with Othello there. You know what I mean?
The screenwriter is black, but it very much sounds like his name is Odin James.
Yeah, Odin James. Odin James. That just don't even, and I don't even feel right saying,
right,
my son Odin James.
Right.
And there's no Iago. There's Hugo.
Right.
Played by Josh Hartnett. And it very much is a beat for beat adaptation of Othello. But as I'm watching this film, I think it's smart to reimagine Othello in a high school setting. It's easy to say that something like, if you're looking at other works of William Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet,
of course,
and putting that in high school because it's about kids,
of course.
But I think it's smart to do something the story of Othello and put it in a high school setting, because as much as we, for the most part, enjoyed the actual adaptation of Othello that we reviewed a couple of weeks ago, one of the things that we pointed out, or one of the things I know that I certainly pointed out, is that I had to take my brain off a little bit to believe that Othello would fall for some of the machinations of Iago. However, that type of twisting of the knife, planting seeds in ears and stuff like that, it plays in a high school setting because that's what high school is.
Right.
High school is all about the melodrama and falling victim to it, right? So that's why adapting this in this world absolutely makes sense. And you can actually make sense of it with Othello being the lone black student in this all-white prep school, because that is a life that we know exists. It's real. That's right there. So it made sense to do this. For the most part, they've cast very well. Mekhi Phifer, in this film, was, like you mentioned, was filmed in 1999. Mekhi Phifer in 1999, still kind of young in his career,
right?
But has already done solid work.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's coming off of Soul Food, where he does great work in that, right? So Mekhi Phifer is an actor who can, like, light up a screen with his intensity, with his charisma, with his magnetism. And Julia Stiles, I think it is fair to say that from the moment she hits the screen, has proven herself to be an actually exceptional actress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who just becomes a role, right? And she becomes Desi for all that this film asks of Desi.
Right.
Because the story of Othello is really about the guys moving around Desi, and Desi just being this pawn in this situation. But it really is about Othello, Iago, and the other two chess pieces that Iago is moving around. And you falling for all of that. And again, in a high school setting, it absolutely makes sense. But one thing does this film a little bit of a disservice for me, is that it's not only is it coming 2 weeks after watching Othello, it's coming 2 weeks after, one, watching Othello, two, having you, who loves Othello and Shakespeare, pointing out that the play is Othello, but it's all about Iago. And having watched Kenneth Branagh play Iago, like, to me, who else is going to be Iago?
Right.
Right? Like, I can't see anybody else being Iago after seeing Kenneth Branagh being Iago. Fast forward to Josh Hartnett, who has the thankless role of being Hugo in this film. Josh Hartnett, an actor that I like well enough, but I think he is a little one note in his performance of Iago, so I don't feel the machinations. I don't feel the cunning that Kenneth Branagh brought to the role. I don't see that in Josh Hartnett's Hugo. But again, that makes sense because he's a high school student. How deeply duplicitous is he supposed to be?
Right.
He's not supposed to be, but so well thought out. So when I give the pass for that and then just lock in, it's like, okay, I'm basically watching this high school drama, melodrama playing out. I buy into the movie. I buy into the acting. I buy into the machinations. I know the story. I know the story beats. Some of them don't make any sense, but it's high school. This is what happens.
Right.
So I find myself, enjoying the film enough, but then it takes the turn because it's all about like just playing with people's emotions and hearts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But then it takes the turn, like the story, and it goes to murder.
Yes.
And when it takes that turn here, I can see, I understand how easily high school students make this leap, because we can't say that, you can't say that it's not realistic that kids would make this leap, because we have the evidence. And the evidence is on the screen. The evidence of that is the reason why this movie
there it is.
Was produced in 1999. It's not released till 2001 because they have to hold it back because of the massacre.
Yeah.
That happened at a high school.
At Columbine.
In Columbine.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's and it gets real.
Yeah. Oh,
It gets real. And when this makes that turn, it feels I can't help it. I felt like we're like, ooh,
Oh.
it's like, ooh,
Oh.
like, cause it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, in one moment we're just like, messing around, like, I think he's seeing your lady, and then the next moment it's like, yeah, you need to kill her.
Yeah.
And it's just as simple as that, and it's just as easy as that. Not only is her life snuffed out, 2 other lives get snuffed out. Then a 4th life gets snuffed out, because we all know the story of Othello, and what becomes this tragic tale, especially in the light of 2001, becomes this this cautionary tale.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the real deal, ladies and gentlemen, and it hits on a wholly different level. This film, it's not the most greatly directed film. Tim Blake Nelson is an actor turned director, and you can see that he leans more into his acting. There are tight close-ups. He gives the performances come through, but if not necessarily the direction or any like great film work or scene setting in this. But he knows actors. He gives the actors room to play, and they get it over. Martin Sheen is eating up too much. I don't know what he's doing in this movie, but it's 1999. He had just got cast in The West Wing. He's like, all right, Tim, I'm gonna do you a favor. You got me for a couple of days, and then I gotta go make this money. So I ain't mad at him. But these 3 actors, Julia Stiles, Mekhi Phifer, and Josh Hartnett, even though I may not 100 be feeling Josh Hartnett in comparison to Kenneth Branagh, against these 3, he's solid. Mekhi Phifer, I love myself some Mekhi Phifer. And unlike in Othello, there is a bit of chemistry between Mekhi Phifer and Julia Stiles, and that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Because she's not given much to do, so it really is about how do you feel, do they actually feel like they are a couple or actually invested in each other? And you feel it. If you're listening to the text, does it make sense that in 4 months they are as strong of a relationship, that they're as strong as they are? It does when you're in high school.
About to say high school,
because that is high school, and that's how it goes down. And in there, that's where the authenticity lies. That's where the performances lies. And there, I was down for O.
As you said, I'm a fan of this play, and frankly, I'm really, really hot or really, really cold for these sort of reimaginings of the story in the Bard. Because for every West Side Story, it's like 30 different. We gonna do the Tempest, but we gonna do it in a barbershop.
Yeah.
This sort of thing. And I remember watching this film when it came out.
Oh, I'm surprised that you saw it when it came out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I liked it. Like, I liked it when it came out. But watching it today, and I'm going to reinforce what you just said about it being kind of beat for beat from the play. I was really impressed with how faithful it was to the play, considering, as you said,
where it's set.
It has changed the whole backdrop.
Yeah, I know.
To this high school play. Like they kept hitting the beats from the play, and I was like, wow, I can't even imagine how they're doing this. But much like you, almost immediately I was struck by how smart it was putting this in this boarding school. We talked about Othello, we talked about Desdemona. Everybody gets stuck on the black-white thing.
Right.
He's black, she's white, they black-white. But in my mind, I said you talk about the age thing. Like it's also an age difference between them, which is not a real factor in this. I got the sense that I believe Desi is a sophomore. I assume she and Michael, who's the Cassio character, are the same age. And and Odin is a senior.
Right.
So he's 2 years older than her. But in high school, that is a significant age difference.
Yes.
But I also think that part of the difference between these two characters is a matter of culture.
Yes.
They're
culture.
from different cultures and different worlds. And I thought that this, and in a lot of ways, Othello is alone in this foreign world. And I thought it was so smart how they played Odin being the good basketball player that was recruited to this rich Tony school. And everybody in the school is rich, except for Odin, who is black, and the Hugo character,
Yeah.
who's not rich either. He's just the son of the coach.
Right. Right.
I love the fact that they really sharpened Hugo's motivations of jealousy. That they kind of shift a little bit, that what he's really jealous of is the fact that his father, who's the basketball coach, dotes on Hugo. Dotes
Odin.
on Odin.
Oh, Odin.
And Odin
Yes.
kind of is embraces this younger player, Michael, who's a Cassio character, because he's good at basketball too. Hugo, as he says in this film, is a utility player. Like, he just kind of holds everything together, which is absolutely an important part of any team, but doesn't get a lot of the spotlight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think Martin Sheen does great work in this film at all,
Not at all.
but I like the couple of scenes between his character and Josh Hartnett's Hugo, where you understand this dynamic between father and son. And this son really just sort of becoming twisted, because he's not getting the attention he wants
From his dad.
From his dad. And much like you, I don't think Tim Blake Nelson does any great work. But my two favorite scenes are the scenes. There's a scene at the dinner table where it's kind of split up,
Yes.
and you never see Hugo in the same frame with his father. And then there's a wonderful scene.
I know exactly where you're going.
And where they have dinner together
In his office. And you never see the father.
And you never see the father. You
Yes.
just see Hugo in this chair in the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you realize the only reason his father has invited him to dinner is to talk about Odin.
Yeah. Ask him what's wrong with Odin.
So this motivation of Josh Hartnett's character, I thought was fantastic.
That's interesting because remember when on the Othello, the thing that I said was that not really feeling the motivation.
You don't really
the
have
jealousy
the motivation
between him and Cassio.
Right, exactly. Josh Hartnett, I thought I really liked him in this because what you kind of view almost as, I thought there was something dead inside this person. Like there's this real
Choice.
that like I really got the sense that this is a sociopath.
Choice. Yeah.
Like he's actually a sociopath. I love the sort of ambient racism that is at this school.
Well, that's
like I love the fact that look in my mind, your Bestiago really puts a mirror up to everyone's prejudices, everyone's shortcomings. This is an environment that treats Odin like he is just some type of prize buck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even, the coach never talks about him outside of any context of besides him being a basketball player. The Cassio character, when things start going left a little bit, I love the fact that he's racist too. He calls him a nigger and the street comes up out of him. Everybody in this film, arguably even Desi, she's 16 and I haven't really had a lot of sex, but there's this really disturbing scene where, do everything you want to do to me. take everything and use me the way you want to use me. And it just felt very kind of like it was very buckish to me.
That sounded like
It didn't say, yeah.
that sounded 16 to me.
That didn't
sounded
sound
high school.
Yeah, it did sounded like it was a little fetishizing by my read. And
Okay.
again, this is something you see throughout this film. I think Julia Stiles is in many ways the secret weapon of this film. I think, as you said, she doesn't get to do a lot. But as an actress, I think her physicality is that my favorite type of actor, where you can tell there's something else going on underneath. So that when they hit that moment at the beginning, when of course, again, it's beat for beat from the play Othello. So Hugo and his boy, and they tell her dad that she is dating or that she's with Odin. He calls her in. They have the confrontation. She tells him, what we're doing is my business, so on and so forth, just like the play. But unlike the film a couple of weeks ago, they actually hit that beat really hard.
Yeah.
Where her father says to Odin, once again, if she lies to me, what makes you think she won't lie to you? And Julia Stiles, I think, has this sort of nuance, this sort of interiority, where I can see how Odin got twisted up and kind of looks at her and, are you telling me the truth? And because it's high school, because it is heightened, much like you, it made much more sense for things to get to this point.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like as history bore witness to, you see how this spirals out of control.
There's a very cool, talking about spirals, there is one cool shot
Right.
going up a spiral staircase.
Right. It's
Yeah.
this visual representation
Yeah.
of things spiraling. And I really, really enjoyed this. Like, I really enjoyed this as an adaptation. Like I thought it really landed in a way where it is faithful to the spirit of the play, but it's also its own thing.
Yeah.
Which, I just name checked, and, in my mind, the greatest adaptation of Shakespeare, I don't really have a controversial choice. Like, I really do think West Side Story is the perfect kind of threading the needle of true to the spirit, but then it's also its own thing. And I think this is more West Side Story than not. I really,
100%
really enjoy
lives in that
this.
space.
Yeah.
It 100% lives in that space of West Side Story. And I think the worst thing you can say about this movie is that I wish that the production values actually were just a little bit better.
Sure.
Because there is a almost TV movie type of sheen to it a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But you know what, though? Almost inadvertently, looking at it now, and certainly since 2001, that sort of CW kind of teen show has become a genre in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's very easy to watch this for an hour, and it's the melodrama of one of these kind of disposable
Right.
teen shows. But then it reminds me, oh, you're watching a play by Shakespeare.
Yeah.
It's about to be a bunch of dead bodies.
Right. It's about to get real quick.
So that it is actually shock. Like you said, it is I think we watch these plays. Obviously I've got like 3 or 4 different Shakespeare rants, but one of my rants is because people have the period clothing on, because they use this speech, the raw emotions and the rawness of a lot of what's going on doesn't resonate with modern audiences unless you have, like an amazingly transcendent cast.
Yeah.
Like, spoiler, I think next week, people, Frances McDermott and Denzel Washington and Corey Hawkins are transcendent to get this across. But usually it's just some dudes in tights saying thou, for, and thereforth in swords and scabbards. Making this modern day, making it teenagers, there is a visceral immediacy to this. So that, as you said, it just follows the plot of the play.
Yeah.
But when you have some 16, 17, 18-year-old kids doing it at a high school, you understand why. Was this Miramax? I forgot what company it was.
I don't think it was Miramax.
Probably whoever it was saw Columbine and said, "Oh shit, we can't put this on the screen." Because 20 some odd years later, I gasped a little bit once the guns start showing up.
Yep.
So
most definitely. You're talking about, you think about it like this, guys in type saying these and thous and stuff. There was a couple of lines from the script that kind of like I bumped up against. There is the character who's the person that Iago is like trying to rope into all this stuff.
Well, it would be Rodrigo in the play,
in Othello,
and here that would be Roger,
played
by Eldon Henson, a very young Eldon, Henson, who, if you watch Daredevil, he played Foggy. Poor dumb Roger.
He says, like Hugo is trying to talk him into because he wants Desi.
Yes.
And Hugo's trying to tell him like, yo, no, they're breaking up. They're breaking up while they're sitting there at a party and they're dancing.
Right.
And Roger says, people that break up aren't grinding.
You leave poor dumb Roger alone.
I was like, oh, really? They're not grinding? Is that what they're not doing, Roger? They're not grinding?
Roger got beat up twice. He got stabbed. And then he got murdered.
He got jacked up. And then Hugo.
Yes.
In trying to, sow the seeds into Odin.
Yes.
About Desi.
Yes.
White Hugo.
Yeah. Go ahead.
White Hugo.
They should have put this on the poster. What he tells
Odin. You grew up in the hood. But I know white girls.
And what does Hugo tell Odin about white girls?
White girls are snaky.
White girls are snaky. White girls are snaky. I said, you are both insulting and you've made up a word. This is fantastic. That was
the best part. Odin is like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I am from the hood. I don't know about these things. I'm very, very good at basketball. I am unfamiliar with the ways of white girls. I trust you, Hugo, to show me the way, and apparently they're snaky.
Oh, God. Yeah, I was tickled at that.
Yes.
I was tickled at that. I was also, and this is just bad direction. So at the end of the movie,
yes,
if you remember, Odin has killed Desi.
Yes, strangles her, and he strangles her just like in the play.
And her best friend, Emily comes running in and like basically gives up the tapes to Odin,
which just like the play,
with Hugo running right behind her, and then Hugo kills Emily.
Just like in a play.
Just like in a play. And then Hugo goes running out of the room.
Yes.
And somebody in the hallway grabs Hugo and throws him down on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And you never see that person again. Because then Hugo is just laying on the ground and Odin comes slowly out of the room afterwards to confront him.
Yeah.
But nobody is like, you threw Hugo on the ground. It would seem to me like, okay, now we're about to pounce on you because we've seen what you've done, or at least hold you down.
Right.
But they don't do anything.
Right. A, they're teenagers. B, I don't know what's going on in here, but I'm a rich kid here in boarding school. I'm not even gonna say rich kid in boarding school. Like, I don't know what's going on in here. I heard a gunshot, and the dean's daughter is dead in there, and the star basketball player is wandering around, and the coach's son. I'm getting out the way.
No, I would get out the way, but somebody grabbed him and threw him to the ground.
Right. And then that person just
and you don't even see the person's face.
It was a hullabaloo, Lynn. It was a hullabaloo. It was a lot going on. It was a brouhaha.
It was a Donnybrook.
It was indeed a Donnybrook.
So, I just
it
bothered me.
That's the part that bothered you.
That and the snaky white girls.
That is white girls
are snaky. You from the hood, but I know white girls.
If I was old, I'd be like, why do you sound like a pimp from 1972? Like, I understand you and I are the only ones who aren't rich kids here, but
white chocolate?
What are you doing right now? It's like Captain Kangaroo Pimp all of a sudden. But I guess the real question is, would you recommend this?
I think I would recommend O. I would recommend O. Got to know what you're going in for. But I think I'd land at O. I think it is a movie worth watching. And worth watching, sitting down with, if you got some teenagers.
Yeah. I strongly recommend O. I think, again, West Side Story for me is the gold standard. But I'm thinking about something like, that's not Baz Luhrmann, is it? The Romeo and Juliet, like the really stylized.
Yes.
Is that Baz Luhrmann? I think this would be a great double bill with that.
I've only seen like a parts of it.
Really?
That's the Leonardo DiCaprio one you're talking about, right?
So good. Like, it really, really is. But I think the problem with the way society and culture, we've deified Shakespeare and turned him into this sort of this plateau of fine art.
Yeah.
It puts us at a distance to enjoy what makes it so good, like actually good. And something like this, because I do think the play is supposed to be unsettling.
Yes.
Once you get to the part near the end. And this really captures that. Like, it really, really captures it. It is a shame that Columbine happened.
I know.
Because I do think it has had a bit of a muted life since then. Like, I feel like it came out eventually, and even when it came out, we were, as a society, we were all still very raw from Columbine.
Very
so
much.
it came out and then it went away almost immediately. But because it is eerie the kind of beats that this film hits.
Yeah.
That, unfortunately now we're all kind of familiar with these very disturbed kids in high school. So yeah, I would very much recommend this.
Question for you. So we've seen an adaptation of the play
Yes.
Othello.
Yes.
And we have also seen 2 reimaginings.
Right. You're including Up All Night.
All Night Long.
All Night long. I'm sorry.
All
Yeah.
Night Long,
Yeah.
which was from the 60s, which had like a London jazz setting.
Yes.
With Patrick McGowan. And now,
Yes.
which do you think does the better job of adapting the play?
I was kind of hoping you wouldn't ask me that because I feel so weird for me to say, oh.
Really? Because it's so beat to beat.
Again, it's not even just beat to beat. I think, I think we get all garbled up like, because we're Americans. Like, we see the race part and we kind of put on these sort of blinders, and that's all we want to talk about.
Right.
But there's so much more going on in Othello with this sort of ambient bigotry that racism is just part of it. And one of the things that I love so much about this adaptation is that, yeah, everybody is racist. But there's also all of this classism.
Yeah, it's a lot more than that.
Kind of running through it as
yeah.
well. That kind of intertwines with the racism. So that what you have is this character who's completely isolated. I think this also bypasses something that we kind of talked about a couple of weeks ago, where I think as modern audiences, we're let off the hook with Othello because it's always like Paul Robeson or Denzel Washington or Lawrence Fishburne playing Othello. So as modern audiences, we can go, oh, that's so racist. How could you not want your daughter to be with Paul Robeson? How could you not want your daughter to be with Denzel Washington? But Mekhi Phifer plays an Othello character that you're like, like he comes across kind of ruggish, thuggish. So you're like, like if you're honest with yourself, it's like, would I want my daughter to be with if my daughter was in high school, if she was a sophomore in high school and they went and recruited this kid, quote unquote, from the hood, and he came and then I found out she was sneaking around with him, like, how would I feel about that? So it makes you kind of confront. And again, I think the film does a great job of showing, he's a kid. Like, I think he's a nice kid.
Yeah, I think he's a nice kid. I don't think he comes across as ruggish, thuggish.
I think that Mekhi Phifer, young,
Mekhi Phifer
not
can't
Mekhi
help.
Phifer, this character Odin.
I don't think the character Odin is
I think
rugged.
he's a little,
he definitely he's feeling himself because he's a star basketball player.
Right.
But I don't think he comes across as thuggish, and I think there's actually is text in there to speak against that. But
I think he's not.
He's maybe
thuggish.
a little rougher around the edges than everybody else.
Right. Okay. So now we're just splitting
hairs, maybe.
Again, I think this is a challenging Othello for an audience in a way that Lawrence Fishburne, with his very deep voice, and that, as you said, for his Othello to say, "I'm not a wordsmith," and you said, you sound very Shakespearean to me,
right?
And obviously, you were Shakespearean enough to get the job. He's a little different than Odin.
Yeah.
So again, I think Odin challenges us a little bit more as an audience.
Yeah, and I think it's just speaking of to the two comparisons. I think that overall, All Night Long is a better film package.
Sure.
But I think that, we said one of the letdowns of that film is Paul Harris as Othello.
Right.
And as much as these movies are about the Iago, you still have to feel the Othello.
Sure. And in his defense, as we pointed out, the man is handcuffed by the fact that it's 1961.
Right. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. But let us be your judge. Go check out O for yourself. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. Before we tell you how we are going to close out the Bards of November, and Vincent gave you a bit of a clue during his review, we invite you to follow the Micheaux Mission on the social media of your choice, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, and or X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, at Micheaux Mission. You can also subscribe to the Micheaux Mission on YouTube at Micheaux Mission, where you can subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified every time that we have new videos and new shorts that are going up on the channel, and be notified when we schedule our next live event. The Micheaux Mission is also a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcast work such as ours, which is streamed every Tuesday night live from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace right here in Manayunk. Go to thevideocontentfactory.com and book your time in one of the lovely studios here at Young Junk. But you can't have this one because this is ours. And you can't have Dylan because he is glued to his seat. If you want to, send some treats to Dylan, you can email us at themicheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUXMISSION@gmail.com. Let us know what's on your mind, and you can send us some coupons for some treats because Dylan does eat a lot. He likes barbecue Fritos. That's just a hint. Okay. Next week, here on the Micheaux Mission, ladies and gentlemen, we will close out the Bards of November with Vincent's selection. And when we announced that we were going to be doing adaptations of William Shakespeare, this was the first film that Vincent selected.
It's true.
And I knew it would be, so I didn't even look at it.
Oh, yeah.
It's from 2021.
Yes, sir.
Stars Denzel Washington,
Yes,
Francis
sir.
McDermott, and
Yes.
Corey Hawkins.
Yes, yes, and yes.
The Tragedy of Macbeth. In beautiful black and white. Next week, here on the Micheaux Mission. Until then, please have a safe, happy holiday. He's Vincent. I'm Len. That's Dylan. And in parting, we say,
We'll see you when it's time to meet again.